Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shatru buddhi vinashaya Deepajyotirnamostute Deepajyotirnamostute Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating World Day to combat desertification and drought every year on 17 June. Desertification is a phenomenon that ranks among the greatest environmental challenges of our time. Although desertification can include the encroachment of sand dunes on land, it doesn't refer to the advance of deserts. Rather, it is the persistent degradation of dry land ecosystems by climate change and mainly human activities, unsustainable farming that depletes the nutrients in the soil, mining, overgrazing, animals eat away grasses and erode tops, soil with their hooves, and clear cutting of land when the tree and plant cover that binds the soil is removed. It occurs when trees and bushes are stripped away for fuel wood and timber or to clear land for cultivation. Wind and water erosion aggravate the damage, carrying away topsoil and leaving behind a highly infertile mix of dust and sand. It is the combination of these factors that transforms degraded land into the desert. So when we look at the impact of desertification in nature and population, desertification is a global issue with serious implications worldwide for biodiversity, eco-safety, poverty, eradication, socio-economic stability, and sustainable development. Dry lands are already fragile. As they become degraded, the impact of people, livestock, and environment can be devastating. Some 50 million people may be displaced within the next 10 years as a result of desertification. The issue of desertification is not new, though. It played a significant role in human history, contributing to the collapse of several large empires and the displacement of local populations. But today, the pace of arable land degradation is estimated at 30 to 35 times the historical rate. Some 2 billion people depend on ecosystems in dry land areas, 90% of whom live in developing countries. A downward spiral is created in many underdeveloped countries where overpopulation causes pressure to exploit dry lands for farming. These marginally productive regions are overgrazed and the land is exhausted and groundwater is overdrafted. Some actions that could help to reduce desertification include reforestation and regeneration, water management, saving, reuse of treated water, rain harvesting, desalination, or direct use of seawater for salt-loving plants. But buttressing the soil through the use of sand fences, shelter beds, woodlots, and windbreaks, enrichment and hyper-fertilizing of soil through planting, farmer-managed natural regeneration, enabling native sprouting tree growth through selective pruning of short shoots. The residue from pruned trees can be used to providing mulching for fields, thus increasing soil water retention and reducing evaporation. Towards sustainable development, UNCCD is putting efforts like desertification along with the climate change and loss of biodiversity were identified as the greatest challenge to the sustainable development during 1992 Rio Earth Summit. 2 years later, in 1994, the General Assembly established the United Nations Convention to combat desertification, in short known as UNCCD, the sole legal binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land development, and declared 17 June World Day to combat desertification and drought by its resolution 49 by 115. Later on, in 2007, the UN General Assembly declared 2010-2020 the United Nations Decade for Deserts and the fight against the desertification to mobilize global action to fight land degradation, led again by the UNCCD Secretariat. UNCCD's 197 parties, 169 affected by desertification, worked together to maintain and restore land and soil productivity and to mitigate the effects of drought in dry lands, the arid, semi-arid, and dry subhumid areas where some of the most vulnerable ecosystems and peoples can be found. Since 2017, the UNCCD and its partners supported about 70 drought-prone countries to develop national action plans to reduce drought disasters. This year, the theme is Her Land, Her Rights. Droughts are among the greatest threats to sustainable development, especially in developed countries, but increasingly so in developed nations too. In fact, forecasts estimate that by 2050, droughts may cover 3/4 of the world's population. The number and duration of droughts has increased by 29% since 2000 as compared to the previous decades. WMO 2021, when more than 2.3 billion people already face water stress, this is a huge problem. Women hold a vital stake in the health of the land, yet they often don't have control over it. So in all parts of the world, women face significant barriers in securing land rights, limiting their ability to thrive and prosper. In many regions, as they remain subject to discriminatory laws and practices that impede their right to inherit and access to the services and resources. And when land becomes degraded and the water is scarce, women are often the worst affected. This year, the theme of the International Day Against Desertification and Drought, Her Land, Her Rights, emphasizes that the investing in women's equal access to land and associate assets is a direct investment in their future and the future of humanity. It's time for women and girls to be forefront of global land restoration and drought resilience efforts. Humanity is at crossroads when it comes to managing drought, and accelerating mitigation must be done urgently, using every tool we can. A new report from the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, Drought in Numbers 2022, calls for making a full global commitment to drought preparedness and resilience in all global regions on top priority. Nearly half of the global agriculture workforce is female, yet less than 1 in 5 landholders worldwide are women. Women rights to inherit their husband's property continue to be denied in over 100 countries under customary religious or traditional laws and practices. Globally, women already spend a collective 200 million hours every day collecting water. In some countries, a single trip to fetch water can take over an hour. Let's watch a small video.
sanadka ku xigay ma badin wubigii ayaaba waxba ay ka socono kala gogo'do biyo ma lahin daaq ma lahin dalab ma lahin oo lama sanadkan waxba lama tamacanin wixii wubiga soo aadanay kistii yaraado soo hartay waaba
abaariyo hore la soo maray roobabka hore sanadka guga oo kala awal di'i jiray sanadka guga markuu doo meeshii uu u badnaa caws iyo cunno iyo waxba laga heli jiray hadda waxay ka bedelan tahay sanadkii guga yaraan meel caws iyo cunno loo doonto la waay xigtay faw noo keentaaba shidaalna kala baxnay badarna kala baxnay faw boqolkiiba 90 aad ay wax noola qabatay
See how Somalia is facing and how UN systems are helping out affected people to protect their livelihood in Somalia. In a similar way, in many countries, there are similar issues regarding desertification. Today, the major goal of the day is to develop workable answers to the problem of desertification, and it is critical to the rehabilitation of degraded land to increase economic resilience, increase income, and assure food security. This day gives us an opportunity to recognize that drought and desertification can be eradicated. Drought is a major issue now that more than 2.3 billion people currently struggle with water scarcity. By 2040, most children would be living in places with acute water shortages. According to the estimates made by UNICEF, drought affects every country across the globe. So as a result, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification is urging all the members of the international community to recognize land as a finite and valuable natural resource, prioritize its health, and work hard to preserve it. Everyone has a stake in the future, thus everyone has a role to play. This observance aims to inspire action and make discussions concerning drought and desertifications more mainstream. By addressing these issues constantly, we can come up with the lasting solutions to sustain our planet for future generations. Desertification is acknowledged as one of the most significant threats to sustainable development at the Rio Earth Summit in 1992. The UNCCD makes a proclamation on January 30. The United Nations General Assembly recognizes this commemoration in 1995. The Amazon basin endures its worst drought in 100 years in 2005, that was worst hit for a century. The UN and its partners provide support for over 70 drought-prone nations in developing plans to mitigate drought disasters in 2017. Desertification has a significant impact on health. It raises the danger of starvation, poverty, water scarcity, climate change, biodiversity loss, and overall environmental imbalance. And land degradation destroys 75 billion tons of fertile soil each year. Overcropping, unsustainable irrigation practices, climate change, irrigation practices, overgrazing, deforestation, poor land management, and high human density are the chief causes for desertification. So this day is also an opportunity to make eco-friendly decisions that can help preserve the future from drought. Purchasing goods from an environmentally conscious business is a proven approach to contributing to the Earth's conservation. Trees help combat desertification as they prevent soil erosion. You could plant some trees to celebrate, and just one or two in your backyard would suffice. Spain is one of the European countries that is most vulnerable to climate-related drought and water scarcity, and drought can disrupt the food chain and result in famine due to shortages of water for crop irrigation. Drought can also last anywhere from a week to a month, a year, or even longer. The trees' roots and fallen leaves help the ground absorb and retain water. Overpopulation in dry lands can have an impact on the soil. So peoples and governments must unite and take action to avoid dangers of the natural disaster. International cooperation is crucial in attempting to mitigate future drought and desertification. The World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought calls on countries to work with the UN to assist the most vulnerable people. Most vulnerable groups are unable to help themselves and need all the support we can offer. Today is also commemorated as Global Garbage Man Day. Of course, now even women also part of it in US. It honors the garbage man and women of the world, from collecting our garbage to seeing it through the entire disposal process. The garbage collectors provide their services to the world relentlessly each day. Even a day's delay in taking away the garbage can result in the inconveniences and the risk of diseases spreading. Thus, garbage collectors and the associated sanitation workers do society a great service by keeping it healthy and clean day in and day out. The day also sheds lights on the jobs of dangers as garbage collecting and disposing of is considered one of the most dangerous jobs in the world due to things like inhaling odors, chemicals, and broken glass. All of these can lead to serious repercussions. Global Garbage Man Day was started in 2011 by John Arwood. Arwood is an American businessman and CEO of JDA Company, which specializes in garbage disposal and demolition. During his childhood, Arwood was an avid recycler who collected bottles and general waste from his father to lessen the burden of waste on the environment. In 1997, Arwood recognized the potential the internet has for the business world, and thus he launched his company's website, and slowly and steadily his business grew all over the country. But Arwood soon realized that the garbage disposal staff was underappreciated by the community at large. Therefore, he started the Global Garbage Man in 2011, and from then onwards, people have been showering the garbage disposal community with appreciation and recognition. So this Global Garbage Man celebrates all garbage collectors, regardless of gender, as a man is an abbreviation of human. So all the genders are included as part of celebration. Arwood went to the extent of Global Garbage Man Day to a waste recycling workers week to envelop all the garbage workers community. Since the beginning, the day and the week have collected several awards and proclamations from state mayors and important political figures in America. Apart from showing appreciation, the day also aims to spread awareness about the dangers of the job. Garbage collectors and disposers fall sick due to unhealthy odors and chemicals they are exposed to. They are always the risk of cutting themselves in broken glassware or other sharp items, or becoming prey to diseases due to unsanitary nature of their jobs. Many garbage collectors, both men and women, end up in hospital due to injuries sustained at their jobs that resulted in injuries, in the best case scenarios, or serious disabilities, or death in the worst case scenarios. So first Global Garbage Man Day was commemorated in 2011. Europe is hit with the Black Plague, a deadly disease, and it is around this time that England introduces rakers, who are garbage collectors that rake all the trash on the streets on a cart in 1300s. A special modern truck is designed to collect garbage efficiently from busy urban areas like apartment and office complexes since 1995. So a garbage man or woman can be called as a waste collector or a trash man or a bin man or refuse collector. The first garbage truck was created by George Dempster, an American businessman and inventor. He called his invention the Dempster dumpster system, which had wheel-based containers that were mechanically lifted and tipped into the truck. So reduce the waste by recycling it. Sort your garbage by paper, plastic, metal, glass, and general. It will not only be easier on the garbage collectors, but it will also benefit the environment in the long run. Pay-as-you-throw program to reduce waste since 2000. About 500 cities in America have had the pay-as-you-throw system to reduce waste. 4.5 billion people around the world are living in unhygienic conditions due to lack of proper sanitation programs and systems. Every minute, a newborn baby succumbs to death due to unclean environments, newborn deaths due to dirtiness. More than 900 million school children worldwide are at risk of getting infections just because they do not have access to clean water to wash their hands. Diarrhea, which is an infectious disease caused by an unsanitary environment, is the second leading cause of death for children under the age of 5. Science and history shows the cleanliness ensures a long and healthy life. The garbage disposal community helps our societies maintain the hygienic environments that are basic need and rights. Without them, our environment would be rampant with diseases and deaths. You can have all the wealth and luxuries in the world, but they would mean nothing if you do not have good hygienic living. Maintaining hygiene allows for good living and good health and great prosperity. Today is also commemorated as World Juggling Day. Juggling requires discipline, dedication, and lots of practice. This entertaining act can be done with several items ranging from balls and bowling pins to bottles, knives, and the possibilities are endless. People can get juggling at any age, as the only prerequisite for the skill is passion. Juggling is an old form of entertainment. There are evidence in paintings on ancient Egyptian tombs where ladies can be seen juggling multiple items. Circuses also had special juggling segments in their shows, as juggling was considered to be a special skill that only a few could master. However, with the advent of television and internet, the art's form popularity has grown significantly. This World Juggling Day was first honored in 1995 by the International Juggling Association, in short known as IGA, was officially established in 1947 by few juggling artists. The non-profit association aimed to recognize the art worldwide and allow for mutual friendship to blossom between the group of artists and by the extension, the one who approaches the art itself. In the beginning, there were fewer than 100 IGA members, but as the years progressed, the number of members increased, with official number being in the thousands today. Since its inception in 1947, the organization holds a week-long convention worldwide for jugglers and other circus art performers. Initially, World Juggling Day was commemorated as National Juggling Day. However, seeing the worldwide appeal of the art, the IJA made it more international by renaming it World Juggling Day. The beginning of juggling is uncertain due to lack of historical documentation, but many research scholars believe that juggling dates back to 2000 BC. The longest duration of juggling was achieved by David Slick, who juggled 3 items for 12 hours and 5 minutes at North Richard Hills Public Library, Texas, USA on July 22, 2009. Anthony Gatto is considered by many to be the world's greatest juggler. Juggle is the official publication of the IGA and focuses on the North America scene. So you can try some juggling. You can start simply by looking at the beginner juggling techniques. With practice, you can add a feather to your hat for this amazing skill. Learning juggling is quite the task, since it involves a lot of time, energy, and dedication. This entertaining art form, therefore, should be appreciated for its complex technicalities that people take months and years to master. Circus performers avoid whistling and or eating peanuts backstage, as they consider it as a bad luck. The Circo Idiot is the oldest running circus in the world, with its first show held in 1888 at Plaza de Toros, Mexico in the West. The word circus comes from the Latin word circle, which used to refer to Roman amphitheaters that hosted chariot races, gladiatorial battles, and other types of sports. J. Purdy Brown, a circus entrepreneur, was the first person to shift a circus into a tent called Big Top for a better viewing experience for the audiences. If you are familiar with circus lingo, you will know that a vendor selling items like popcorn or toys is called a butcher. So juggling requires utmost concentration and passion. While many jugglers toss balls or bowling pins or other similar paraphernalia, Many others also juggle with knives, swords, fire, and other dangerous items. This art form deserves celebration for its various techniques that has entertained the world for thousands of years. Entertainment has countless genres all over the world. Entertainment also teaches us various lessons, and with juggling and repetitive movements, teaches the value of what can be achieved through sheer willpower. With the spread of technology and globalization, we are being bombarded with many overwhelming things. During such an onslaught, our dedication to our craft should not waver. Juggling, like many other skills and professions, teaches us the value of dedication and never giving up in the face of failures. Today is also commemorated as World Tessellation Day. Tessellation is an art of tiling a plane using geometric shapes in the form of tiles that require specific measurements. So this day is dedicated to appreciating the fascinating art of tessellation and honoring these math-inspired various visual artists who don't often get recognized. Today also allows kids to explore this art form as a hobby. While it's all about creativity, it also requires analytical skills, a great exercise to boost young children's left and right brain functions. The origin of the mathematical art of creating patterns or tessellation dates back to 4000 BC, when the ancient Sumerians discovered the use of clay tiles as home and temple decorations. In the West, it wasn't too long until the next civilizations quickly adopted tessellation both in art and architecture. The Arabs, Chinese, Egyptians, Japanese, Romans, Persians, and the Moors practiced the use of repeated patterns and geometric designs in their decorative arts. During the classical antiquity period in the 8th century, tessellation became a staple for mosaic chilling decorations using the small square blocks called tesserae. In the 4th century, one of the most famous tessellation arts was made by the Muslim Moors in Granada, Spain. The Alhambra, an Islamic tessellation artwork composed of countless tiles in geometric positions that were constructed for the residence and court of Muhammad ibn Yusuf ben Sa'd. In 1619, Johannes Kepler conducted the first official and documented study of tessellation art. In his book, Harmonica Kundi, he cited regular and semi-regular geometric designs that heavily influenced modern-day tessellation. He also was the first person to explore and document the hexagonal features of honeycomb and snowflakes. In 1891, Russian crystallographer Yevgraf Fyodor explained in a more advanced study that every periodic tilling in a plane has one of 17 isometries. The study marks the first official recognition of tessellation as a mathematical study. This was further explored by Otto Kainzel and Heinrich Hizet in 1964 and Alexei Shubinov and Nikolai Bolaev in 1964. Today, contemporary artists introduce different modern permutations such as surreal landscapes, handprint patterns, and paper tessellations. Tessellation art exists in fabric patterns, chessboards, tile floors, and brick walls, to name a few. And other terms for tessellation are grid, matrix, or plexus. So circles, ovals, and oblongs do not tessellate. Tessellation art classes are ideal for kids who show artistic and creative potential. Enroll your child in your local art school and let them take weekend classes to boost their creativity and analytical capacity. Only 3 regular polygons tile a plane. Only a square, triangle, and hexagon can completely tile a plane. A cube in 3D is the only regular polyhedron that can independently tessellate. Science supports the beehive, honeycombs, snowflakes, and dried up mud. All are geometric. The 3 categories of tessellation construction are translation, reflection, and rotation. The father of modern tessellation is Dutch artist M.C. Escher. He is considered the father of modern tessellation. So tessellation art is a good exercise to be both creative and mathematical. Unlike other art projectors, the tessellating requires math, but unlike other art projects, tessellating requires math while executing your creative vision. It's perfect for kids. And the minimalist array of fashion is on the rise. Tessellation designs of repeated patterns on clothes are hip and trendy. It's a great excuse to wear these designs on World Tessellation Day. Not many people know about the cultural, scientific, and mathematical history of tessellation. It is a great way to introduce this to people to honor the artists and scholars who dedicate their lives to this art form. Today is also commemorated as International Surfing Day. It is an environmentally conscious commemoration and celebration that celebrates surfing and the sustainability of ocean resources. It also promotes surfing and encourages more people to dive into this fun sport. Surfing can be traced back about 5,000 years and is not just a sport, but a hobby and a lifestyle. It's a pastime found on all populated continents. International Surfing Day was initiated in 2005 by Surfing Magazine and the Surfrider Foundation. It was created to promote the sport of surfing as well as to educate people about the negative impact of their activities on the ocean and the environment. On International Surfing Day, various activities are held, such as surfing contests, barbecues, and other fun surf-centered activities. Several groups also organize beach cleanups and other restorative activities as a way of contributing positively to the environment. Body surfing has likely existed since humans began swimming in the ocean. However, surfing with the assistance of apparatus has been traced to the Indian culture and ancient cultures of Peru, where people surfed on reed watercraft for recreational and fishing purposes. Modern surfing, with the use of surfboards, however, originates from pre-colonial Hawaii, which was introduced by the innovation by the Polynesians. Written evidence of surfing in Polynesia can be found in the journal of Joseph Banks during his stay in Tahiti in 1769. In Hawaii, surfing became more than a hobby or sport. Moving into the realm of religion, culture, and the art, it was referred to as Hinalu, meaning wave sliding. Before surfing, the people would pray to the gods for protection and strength. The making of surfboards also required the assistance of a priest. According to historians Kim Stoner and Geoff Dunn, surfing made its debut in the United States in July 1885 when the four teenage Hawaiian princes arrived in California. In 1961, the United States Surfing Association was established, arguably becoming the first professional surfing contest organization in the world. Today, surfing is not just a sport, but a lifestyle which now can be found on all populated continents. So Robert Kelly Slater is considered to be the best surfer in the world, as he has won more than 11 surfing world championships. Surfing made its Olympic premiere at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, and it is a general belief that the best time to surf is early in the morning. So there's a better way to celebrate International Surfing Day than to just do it. Go surfing and experience the thrill of the sport. Protect your environment by organizing a beach cleanup and to get rid of pollutants that might contaminate the ocean. Let's keep our environment clean and healthy. Buy a Chessie surf-themed item as a reminder of International Surfing Day, whether it's a shirt or inspiring caption or a miniature surfboard or a surfboard itself for someone else, or you can gift them, or you can also use them. The world has only one ocean, which is divided into 5 interconnected ocean basins, namely the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, the Arctic, and the Southern Ocean. The ocean covers over 70% of the Earth's surface, which is extremely large. About 94% of all living creatures on Earth can be found in the ocean. So most animals are in the ocean. That's why it is very rich in diversity, and we have to protect them. Due to number of shipwrecks that occur, the ocean has more historical artifacts than all museums in the world. In the entire world, there are believed to be over 670,000 islands. So the awareness activities on International Surfing Day reminds us how important it is to protect our environment from pollution and other detrimental activities. It provides a venue to discuss how pollution impacts our daily lives. We have only one planet and we must protect it. Beach cleanup activities are small but important ways of protecting and preserving our ocean. Getting rid of the debris, dirt, and litter on the beach helps keep our oceans clean. Today is also commemorated as National Mascot Day in US to appreciate the spirit of fun mascots bring to every event. On any game day, mascots engender enthusiasm and energy. People of all ages, children and adults alike, enjoy them, and they help build memories of their favorite team. California is known to be the home of several of the quirkiest and most whimsical mascots in the world of sports. The word mascot originates from the French word mascotte, used to describe things that bring good luck. So mascots have been around for over 130 years. The term was popularized in the 18th century when the French composer Edmond Audran wrote an opera, La Mascotte. The work became so popular that it was translated into English as a mascot, meaning any animal, person, or object which brings good luck. On November 11th, 1882, according to a sports article in the London newspaper, The Era, a football match between Middlesbrough Association and a newly formed team named La Mascotte took place, in which one player dressed up in a costume. This was most likely the first mascot in the sports world. In the United States, the first mention of a sports mascot for baseball was in 1883 when a boy working for the team named Chick earned the reputation of bringing good luck to the players. Mascots can take the form of a person, animal, or anything which represents good luck. Costumes mascots appeared in the mid-20th century, which allowed teams to choose any creature to become their ambassador. Nowadays, mascots stir up the fan base and entertain and also educate. They have filled all American landscapes. Mascots are also commonly used to represent consumer products. One example being Ronald McDonald for the fast food chain McDonald's. Music brands also use brand mascots to promote their music, who show up at live shows or the album covers. Think Eddie, the head of the famous English heavy metal band Iron Maiden. There are many types of mascots such as corporate mascots, animal mascots, military mascots, sport mascots, and object mascots. The mascot can also be called as charm, amulet, or talisman. The mascot logo is used to represent a business by an illustration of the mascot. So Snoopy is NASA's mascot. In 1968, NASA uses the Peanuts comic character Snoopy as its first safety mascot. Triceratops became the team mascot as a dinosaur rib was found during the construction of the stadium. Domino's had a mascot named the Noid, but stopped using it after a mentally challenged man with the name Noid thought that the character was based on him and killed himself. MGM has used 8 lions as mascots, and MGM's mascot is a real lion. In 1920s, the mascot for Georgetown Hoya sports teams was Sergeant Stubby, the most decorated war dog in World War I. So mascots have an integrated and interesting history. They have supported all kinds of events and emboldened many events and causes. It brings people together and makes the day more fun. It unites teams and supporters and motivates onlookers to join in. Today is also commemorated as National Mason Day. To take time to appreciate all the people who are out there called Mason. So the name comes from Mason trade, a cornerstone of modern human civilization. Many societies, including the English, which had an industrial boom in the middle of the 18th century, has sped up the expansion of towns and cities, highly valued the role of builders. And Mason is also the second most popular boy's name in the US in 2011, and an estimated 15,000 Americans share it. Today, we are also commemorating National Nursing Assistants Day in US. It honors dedication of nurses whose work saves countless lives. So nurses work alongside nurses to assist patients with their daily needs and other healthcare tasks. Since 1997, certified nursing assistants get a National Day of Appreciation, which is followed by a full week of celebrations. Certified nursing assistant profession began during the World War I when 8,000 nurses were deployed to serve under the Red Cross program. Their efforts are still remembered and appreciated today. Nurses have been around for hundreds of years, but professional nursing is a relatively new field. Florence Nightingale, a well-educated daughter, defied conventions by becoming a nurse. Nursing was not regarded as a respectable profession for well-bred ladies and nursing was only permitted for sick family members or friends. Nightingale completely altered this perception. She believed that the nursing was an ideal career for women who at that time didn't have many options. So during Britain's Crimean War in 1854, newspapers reported that the treatment of Russian soldiers was treated much better than British soldiers. The government ordered Nightingale to take a group of nurses to the military hospital with proper sanitation, ventilation, nourishing food, and medication. Nightingale was able to reduce death rates. She became known as a lady with lamp who made nightly rounds to comfort the sick and wounded. So her efforts and her belief in people changed nursing world's entire dynamic. By the end of 19th century, the entire Western world recognized the value of educated nurses. By mid-1930s, the demand for patient care increased along with the technological advancements. As a result, patients were treated in hospitals rather than at home. Hospitals were the largest employer of registered nurses by the mid-1950s. So nursing assistants help in grooming the patients, checking vital signs, feeding patients, and checking their food and liquid intake. Always be courteous and kind to nurses and tell them you are thankful for their services. You can even buy them a gift or a card to show appreciation. Nursing and medical assistants are one of the most common assistant jobs. So according to the Gallup poll, nursing has been voted the most honest and ethical profession by US adults for the past 18 years. Nurses can get a PhD or a doctorate in nursing practice and can be doctors. Nurses walk about 4 to 5 miles in a 12-hour shift. About 60% of nurses work in hospitals, but others work in doctors' offices, outpatient care centers, residential care communities, and even in nursing homes. During the Civil War, Walt Whitman worked as a volunteer nurse. So we celebrate this day to appreciate the work of nurses. They work hard every day to save people and make lives better. It's only right for us to show our appreciation. The appreciation of nurses fills them with new energy and encourages them to work with vigor. The day encourages nurses to continue doing their best. This week is also commemorated as National Week of Making. Celebrates the innovations in science, technology, engineering, art, and math, as well as the individuals who contribute to the makers movement. The term making refers to the creative aspects of metalworking, woodworking, drawing, and even digital fabrication. And it is an excellent opportunity for the people to learn new skills and take on interesting challenges that can help them solve real-world problems. The celebration is accompanied by the National Maker Fair, where the public can display their inventions. Today is also commemorated as Bunkers Hill Day. Commemorates the Revolutionary War battle that has happened in June 1775. which was led by General William Howe, who led 2,200 British troops and half, and the number of Americans were led by Colonel William Prescott. The British attacked near Bunker Hill and lost more than 1,000 men in the process. The American revolutionaries unfortunately ran out of ammunition and eventually had to fight the British bayonets just with the butts of their muskets. So this is the reminder of the bravery of heroes. Today is also commemorated as National Dog Dad Day. It's an opportunity for all the dog dads out there to acknowledge the love they have for their pets and strengthen the relationship between pups and their owner dads. It's all relationships between human and pets. The bond between dog and their dog dads is special. The day is recognized so that you can spend time with your dog and give it all treats it discovers. So this day is for adoptable puppies. A day with dogs can make anyone happier. With this busy life we have, it is extremely difficult to make time for pets. And this day gives the people an opportunity to spend time with dogs. It strengthens the bond between humans and pets. A day spent well with dogs can help in developing great memories. Today is also commemorated as National Dump the Pump Day in US. Aims to allow people to save time and money on gas. Moreover, the day also spreads awareness about the depleting fossil fuel resources, factors like population growth, urbanization, globalization, and the increased demand and supply issue. This domino effect has further led to the increase in environmental pollution as well as airborne diseases. National Dump the Pump Day motivates, right? Future holds a lot of promises, especially for the generations to come. We must put in our share of efforts to preserve what is left for the what is come, for what it is to come, and we can begin doing this by opting for public transportation. Today is also commemorated as National Eat Your Vegetables Day and is a favorite food already. So it's a great time to give them a try. After all, vegetables are very healthy. If you can manage a little experimentation in the kitchen, you can discover how many delicious recipes there are for them. If you're not a vegetarian, chances are you don't often visit vegetarian restaurants. But National Eat Your Vegetables Day is definitely the day to try something new involving vegetables. Vegetarian restaurants specialize in making vegetable to the main component of the dish, and you will be surprised at how the filling can be done. Today is also commemorated as National Apple Strudel Day. It is a Viennese dessert made from thinly rolled up dough, sheets, apple, sugar, and assortment of spices. Can be accompanied by the generous dollop of whipping cream or a dusting of icing sugar, cinnamon. The word strudel comes from Germany and it means whirlpool or an eddy. There's a lot of technique involved in baking an apple strudel. You have to pound the dough to give it a texture, but if you are not in the mood to work those biceps, don't fret because you can just buy some ready-made pastry dough for the strudel. Choose your choice of favorite fillings to go along with your apple slices and you are good to go. So with this, we shall end the commemorations. See you all tomorrow. So thank you, friends, everyone, for joining us today. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of quickly fill up the feedback form. The quiz will be closed and the conference, and the webinar series will also be closed for the day. So we request everyone to quickly fill up and submit. So we thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same link with different topics.